Yeah, namaste, everyone.
जी हेलो नमस्ते and welcome everybody. Namaste Sunil Bhaiya. Namaste everybody. जी. So here we are again gathered for this our family reunion for the common follow-up session of Student Induction Program Module 1 Universal Human Value. We have our resource person and course person Sunil Bhaiya with us. Namaste Bhaiya. Welcome. Over to you.
Namaste, Priya. So welcome to the Wednesday follow-up meeting. As Parishit Bhaiya pointed out, this is a follow-up meeting of the Students Induction Program, which we started from November 2020. So after the induction program, which is conducted by the AICTE during that year, every week on Wednesdays and Fridays, we conduct this follow-up meeting for the students. So students from various parts of the country, various institutions, they join this meeting and share their self-exploration in this meeting. We also discuss some of the content of the UHV 1 part which we discuss usually in the SIP in this particular meeting, so that there is content parity with the students as well as the teachers who join along with the students. This is also live in the YouTube channel of the AICTE, so you can watch it in the YouTube channel also. Many students are watching it in the YouTube channel too. The purpose of the meeting is to self-explore and share the self-exploration in this particular meeting and have clarity of the content, and further verify the proposals and validate verify the proposals based on our natural acceptance and validate it in our experiences, life experiences. So living by the values is what is expected as an outcome of this particular follow-up meeting. We have several follow-up meetings, so this is for the students. On Wednesdays, 7:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., we discuss this module 1, as Parishit Bhaiya pointed out, UHV content. And during Fridays, from 7:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., we discuss about the holistic health part. So currently, we have been discussing with regard to the content of this UHV 1, which is delivered in SIP. Now we are in this harmony in the family. The naturally acceptable feelings are being discussed. So trust, the foundation feeling, is being discussed. The screen which you see right now is just projected for having a recap of what we have been discussing in the previous meetings. So we have been discussing with regard to trust in the previous meeting, the foundation value. What we have discussed is doubt on intention is a major reason for problems in relationship. So we have been exploring that physical facility is necessary to fulfill our basic human aspiration. And then we saw that that is not sufficient for human being. Relationship is also necessary. And we have explored that the relationship, if it is not with right understanding, there can be gaps in this relationship, there can be breakage in this relationship. So we recognize that right understanding is also required. So the priority in which we can see the elements or the parameters for fulfilling the basic human aspirations are right understanding, relationship, and physical facilities. So we have been exploring the different details of this in the subsequent sessions, and now we are discussing this relationship part, in which the foundation feelings. There are feelings in this relationship, and the foundation feeling is trust. So the relationship is there between oneself and another self. We just need to recognize this relationship and fulfill it. Human being is a coexistence of self and the body. This also have been discussed in the previous meeting. So these feelings are there, and the relationship is there in the self, between oneself and another self. And recognition and fulfillment of the feelings is what we have been exploring right now. So trust is the foundation feeling, and what we have observed through the 8 questions which we have asked in the beginning of this meeting, 4 of them belong to this natural acceptance and other 4 belong to the competence part. So we see that doubt on intention is a major reason for problems in relationship. As an example, you can see this is already discussed. So if I make a mistake 100 times, I see that I did not make the mistake intentionally. I never doubt my intention. I have a feeling that I'm special. I reinforce that I'm good. But when it happens with the other person, like breaking of a glass, fragile material like glass, when it is broken, I say that even if the other makes a mistake once, I doubt on his intention, and I say that he makes mistakes intentionally. So the feeling of opposition, irritation, angry, everything is generated in me, and that leads to my evaluation of the other, that the other is bad and he cannot improve. So this is what we refer to as doubt on intention. In place of evaluating the other on the basis of his intention, we evaluate the other on the basis of his competence. But we always evaluate ourselves on the basis of our natural acceptance. This is a point which we have discussed. And also, we have explored further. This question also has been responded by you in the previous meeting. If you have unconditional, continuous trust on intention or natural acceptance of the other, and if the other is lacking in competence, what will you do? So most of you have responded to this particular question as to improve his competence and also improve my competence. I have to ensure that I have right competence, I have improved competence, and with the help of that, I can help improving the competence of the other also. But if I am getting irritated, if I am getting angry, if I am having a feeling of opposition with the other, that is leading to a feeling of reaction. Doubt on intention is leading to reaction, but trust on intention is leading to response. This is something which you have discussed. Also, this question has been asked to everyone that how many persons do you have trust on intention? So some of you have explored that we have trust on intention on very few persons. Somebody said that the number is more, just like that. But you have to see this is unconditional, continuous. So this also has been explored. So this is fundamental. Trust on intention is the foundation of relationship. So we further continue to see that this response to question number 4A, the other wants to make me always happy, is a consequence of response to question 2A. I can see that I want to make the other always happy. That is my desired state, what I want to be. And with the help of that, I can see that the other wants to make me always happy is also true. So when I recognize that this is a consequence of question number 2A, then I can see that I evaluate the other on the basis of this intention, and I see that the intention is same in every person. So trust on intention is the starting point of this relationship. But competence-wise, everybody is different. As you can see, the boxes, the box on right top is regarding my ability. Am I able to make myself happy, always happy? I am able to make the other always happy is part of my competence, my ability. I can see that I lack in competence. So I'm not able to make myself always happy. I may be happy sometimes, but sometimes I may not. This is part of my ability. I'm able to make the other always happy. This also is questionable because I'm not very sure about this. With regard to the other is able to make herself, himself always happy. We are not very sure about this. So these two questions, responses to these two questions relate to the competence of the other. So now we can see that this is competence part and this is intention part. So this is what we have discussed in the previous day. So trust on intention is the starting point of relationship. This also has been discussed, evaluation of human being based on competence and lack of competence. The red part is my lack of competence and this green part is my competence. So as illustration purpose, a few individuals, rather their competence are just written here, just given here in the form of bar chart. You can see that the competence wise, every human being is different. So if I see that the competence of somebody is more than that of mine, it is my commitment. Rather, it is my commitment to seek help from the other to improve my competence. so that I can also reach at par with him or her. And if I see that the other is lacking in competence, I am responsible to help the other to come to my level of competence. So this is what we have discussed. If you have any questions with regard to this or any sharing with regard to what we have been discussing so far, you can place it right now. I can see that several students have joined this time. Plenty of students are there. So if any one of you is having any exploration with regard to this foundation value of relationship, that is trust, you can have your reflection or your sharing. Mic will be given to you if you raise your hand. Mic is given to several of the participants. I can see this also. So if you feel like speaking, you can just unmute yourself and speak. You can also use a chat box for typing your responses. I can see that too. Anybody who was there in the previous Wednesday's meeting can share their exploration right now. Manjusha Didi, your mic is unmute. Would you like to share something?
Hello.
Rohini Didi, yeah. Namaste.
Namaste. I totally agree with this slide that when a mistake is done by other person, we get irritated and we get angry. And when the mistake is done by us, then we sympathize with ourselves. So like tomorrow is my son's exam. So I was teaching him. So he was making mistakes again and again. So I was getting angry and scolding him. So but after reading this slide and listening to the presentation, I realized that the intention of my son is to learn. So I should help him to develop his competence. So I should trust on his intentions and assist him in developing his competence so that he can do his best. And the giving reaction like getting irritated and getting angry is not the right thing to do. So this I learned from my clear understanding.
Thank you, Didi. That is a nice exploration and that is enriching this content as well as every one of us. So it's an example of experientially validating the proposal. As you said, rightly pointed out, I know that they have difficulty in understanding and also I may have difficulty in explaining. So this is what I also feel like when,
yes.
Yeah. So when I discuss some content with some of my students, I also have this feeling that I have explained it so nicely to my level of say understanding, but why the students are not learning? Still there is gap in learning. So how can I patch it up? Sometimes I scold the students, but I realize that I also may have this lack in competence. So I may have difficulty in explaining. So I have to improve my way of explanation. This is the realization which I had after exposure to this content. Nice, Didi. Thank you.
Thank you, Bia.
Thank you, Didi. Any other co-explorer would like to share something? Some of you have unmuted, but maybe at that time Rohini Didi was speaking. So anybody else, if you would like to speak, you can unmute and speak. Mic is given to many of you. It is nice if some students can come forward and speak on this particular content. Good evening, Ansil.
Yes, sir. My exploration would be like for having a harmonious society, it's necessary to develop right understanding, which can only be developed by having trust in everyone. Like trust or intention should be prioritized rather than depending upon the others and comparing themselves, then trusting on intention, and also we can avoid the competence which is currently persisting in the society, and rather than just competing, we can increase the level of competence of the other, and hence we can also improve that right understanding, and hence which are also be resulting in the right understanding, which will also lead us in a harmonious society. So.
Very good. Nice. Thanks for that explanation, Ansel. So he referred two things in that. One is competing and competence. These two words looks like same, but they are totally different in their meaning. Competing with each other is to come first, let's say, to bring the other to my, say, far behind of me. I want to come first. So I compete with the other person. But competence, developing competence is different from that. Nice point. And developing competence is what we have been discussing here. So I can see that I lack in competence, so I have to develop it. If I explain things to my students, if they are not able to understand what is it, I have also some lack in competence. So competence is my developing my right understanding. Understanding harmony at all the four levels. This is what we refer to as competence. Skill is only a very small part of it. Very nice. Very good. Anybody else would like to share something with regard to the content we have been discussing the previous day? You can put in the chat box also, the messages you can put in the chat box too.
Yeah, good evening, Bhaiya.
Yeah, Prashant Bhaiya. Good evening. Prashant Swami Bhaiya.
Yeah. Thank you. So I would like to share one expression here. I remember one story which we learned, and it was told by our teachers. And that story is nothing but a story of a son and his father. Means father sitting in the window looking at a cow outside and asking the son, "Arey, which animal is that?" The son is telling, "Sir, to Papa, that is cow." But again he's asking, "What is that?" He's telling it is cow. But after 3-4 times, he says, "Father, you don't know how many times I've told you it is a cow." But father reminds him that, "Beta, when you were small and sitting in the same window, I think I cannot forget that you are asked not less than 30-40 times. And with the patience I told all these things, that is, it is a cow only." I think that way I am making my students also in the class to know the many of the things, and tell them, if you ask me 100 times also, the same way I will answer the questions to you. But you have to come how I can come that you are having the difficulties. I think this is one of the way to increase the competences in the students by even exploring the examples or stories which are known to us, and we can make out the right way in the right understanding of the students. That is what I want to tell here.
Very nice example. Yeah, nice example. And Leah, when we discuss this matters, rather the proposals with the students, it is very nice to have connectivity with examples and experiences which are closely related to the students. Very nice. It's an excellent example to discuss with regard to this competence part. Very nice. Ji Bhaiya, you want to add something?
Yes. Thank you. No. Actually, what is that? When we add some stories in the when we in the class, when we teach any of the subjects, so the attention of the students increases. At the same time, there is a change which is needed to change that monotonous work, if it is a theoretical part, and otherwise the students they move here and there. That is, their mindset is somewhere, and they are physically just in the class. And to keep them attentive as well as more concentrating, So if we add such examples, which we know and we have somewhere read, so I think everyone should try to explore in that way, either storytelling or puzzle. That is what I wanted to add here. That's it.
Very
Thank
nice,
you
sir.
then.
Very nice. Thank you
Thank
so much.
Thank
So what I do during my discussions with the students is I share my own experiences, like a story. This also works because when I say regarding my experience, I can say it with much more passion. Also, I quote stories from other resources too. So this is very good. But only thing is that the stories, they have to be connected with the content, or they are matching with the content. That's it. Nice, Priya. Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you, Bhaiya. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So, any students would like to share something? So far, we got 2 teachers and 1 student shared their views with regard to this content. So if anybody else would like to share something, you're welcome. Okay, so what we say here is that, yeah, yeah, very true. As you can see in the maybe read from Parishit Bhaiya, after sharing any example or story, it is important to get back to the related core proposal or content so that the takeaway is existential law rather than the story or a do-don't form of the story. Very true. So this is the difference between this moral education and value education. So when it is moral education, what is happening there is mostly there is storytelling and there is a moral at the end of the story. And mostly these morals are like do's and don'ts. So we don't slip into the kind of do's and don'ts situation. Rather, we have to come back to this proposal which we are referring to. So short stories would be nice, which are very much related to the proposal. So coming back to the proposal and helping the students or the audience to explore the proposals is very, very important. Yeah. Verification is also very important, Manchal. Verification of the proposal connected to the stories or connected to the life, referring to the natural acceptance. That is also very important. Nice. Thank you. So we discussed with regard to trust in the previous few Wednesdays meetings. Trust on intention is the starting point for mutual development. This is a point which we bring over here. This also is a proposal, so we can explore. If the other is lacking in competence, I am committed to help the other to improve his competence without becoming irritated. So when there is a reaction from the other part, if I am in harmony within me, in my individual part, so in myself, if I am in harmony, I will not go into this reaction. So I can be calm. I can be in this response mode. And when I am in the response mode, the students also, or the other is also coming to this response mode. Yeah, if the takeaway is helping the student to self-explore, self-verify a specific proposal, not just evaluating their action, it is okay. Nice, Bhaiya. Thank you. Right. So trust on intention is the starting point for mutual development. So we can see from the mutual evaluation that intention is same with every human being. So we trust on intention, but what is lacking in human beings is this competence part. Yeah. Now we are going to discuss sooner than later with regard to this evaluation of the competence part. So right evaluation is what we are going to discuss. That is going to come next. So competence wise, we can see that everyone is different and we can help handhold the other to improve my competence. If I handhold with other person, when the other person is ahead of me in terms of competence, he can help me in improving my competence. But when I see that I'm ahead of the other, it is my commitment or rather responsibility to help him also to improve competence. Nice. Yeah, this also is something which we had explored in the previous Wednesday, but we continue with this. Doubt on intention leads to issues like mistrust on the other, anger, fear in relationship, etc. With trust on intention, one is able to get rid of the root cause of such issues. Well, you have a course in your second year, UHV 2. In that, the resolution of such issues will be discussed further. That is what is given in this particular slide as the proposals. So students, when they join their institutions, they have a lot of kind of peer pressure to do things which are not known to them. So we discussed about this peer pressure also in one of the previous sessions. But that may sometimes lead to ego kind of a situation. Sometimes that may lead to depression kind of a situation. Anger is also part of that, mistrust, fear. So sometimes, many times they will be confused with regard to what to do, what not to do. So when we have this trust on intention with every other human being, including the seniors, including the other persons in the hostel or in the institution, they can see that the other is similar to me, and they can have trust on intention, but competence wise, everyone is different. So the root cause of anger and other such issues can be seen with the help of this trust on intention, and we can get rid of this root cause. That is what is being discussed. Yeah, this is a slide on which we have stopped in the previous day's meeting. I remember that. Anger. This is a very common issue which we see with every one of us and with the students also. Yeah, Sharon Bhaiya, would you like to share something? Your hand is raised. Sharon and R Bhaiya. Mike is there with you. You just need to unmute and speak. Sharon R G. If it is by mistake, let us continue. Or whenever you feel like, you can just unmute and speak. You're welcome. All right. So anger arises when we are not able to differentiate between this intention and competence of the other. Based on lack of competence of the other, we doubt over their intention. So when the evaluation is on the competence part, assuming that that is intention, then we doubt over the intention. Once we have a doubt on the intention of the other, then instead of relating to the other, we feel in opposition to the other. So this is many times this leads to this anger. We want to come out of that. So if I understand the human being correctly, human being is coexistence of self and body, and the other is a human being like me, then that gives clarity to me that intention wise, every human being is like, we have the same purpose, we have the same potential, we have the program is also same with every human being, but competence wise, we are different. So this, if we can see this particular thing, this particular proposal, if we can verify this particular proposal, then we may not slip into this anger situation. So thus, any small unfavorable incidents may lead to irritation or even anger. That is like, as we discussed here, if you evaluate the other human being on the basis of competence alone without seeing the intention, that may lead to even a small change. Maybe you will be in a relationship with some other person, say your close friend. Maybe a very small incident can cause this change in this relationship. As we discussed in the sessions, like one of the students was sharing after discussion on trust on the next day in the workshop, that the previous day he was when he was standing near the mess hall, one of his friends was just rushing towards the mess hall. This student greeted him or wished him, but the other one, yeah, Surikant Bhaiya, would you like to say something? Your mic is unmute.
Yeah, nothing, Bhaiya. It's okay. Just I am hearing the discussion.
Okay, thank you. Because your mic was unmute, I thought you were to say something. Okay. So this student was just standing near the mess hall, and friend was rushing towards the mess. This student greeted the other one, but there was no response. So assumptions went on in this student that why the other person is not greeting him, because he was a very close friend of mine. But after some time, he just evaluated the situation. And while he's sharing, he was telling that had I not been undergone this discussion on trust the other day, I would have mistrusted my friend. So what happened is, after that incident, maybe the other day morning, I discussed with him what happened. I just asked him what happened on that day. Why didn't you greet me? Oh, he said that, oh, you were there. I didn't notice that you were there. I was rushing towards the mess hall just to collect my wallet. I misplaced it over there. There is a lot of money in the wallet. So just to collect that, I was just rushing towards the mess hall. And in that process, I didn't notice that you were greeting me. So this is what has happened. So many times, we also go into such kind of assumptions that when somebody is not taking up the call when you ring, our assumption may be like, what is the other person doing? Why can't he pick up my call? I called him twice or thrice on this day, but even then he is not picking up the call. But we don't know what is happening on the other side. Many times we tend to mistrust. We put ourselves into anger situation. So, but we can see that intentionally he or she is not doing this, but competence-wise, maybe at the moment when the call was on, or rather the ring was there, he may be in some other duty, or he may not be able to, say, pick up the call. So this can be evaluated. That is what is being discussed in this particular slide. So the other self has the intention, that is natural acceptance, to be happy and make the other happy, just like me. This is what we refer to as trust. To be assured that the other is, with his natural acceptance, is wanting to make me happy and prosperous. The other may be lacking in competence to fulfill their intention, just like I am lacking in competence. I can see that I am not able to make myself happy always. So I am lacking in competence. So the other is also a person like me. The other is a human being like me. He or she is also lacking in competence. And it may take time. If I take this much time to verify these proposals, the other also will take much more time to verify the proposals. The competence is lacking. I can help the other to improve his competence. So this is what we refer to the other propose as trust. So with trust on intention, we feel related to the other, then there is no feeling of anger. Well, if there is any exploration with regard to this, the content which we have been discussing now with regard to anger, you can place it. Any experience which you can share, it would be nice. From the student side or the faculty side, it would be nice if you can place your experiences, maybe some occasions in which you overcome anger. Or some other occasions in which you mistrusted the other because you think that the other is intentionally doing this. Like Didi was telling just now, with regard to the exam of her child tomorrow, trying to help the child to learn, but he is not learning, at least some portions he is not able to. So this is because there is lack in competence. In explaining, there can be lack in competence, as well as in learning, there can be lack in competence. So let us try to improve our own competence first and help the other after establishing a relationship with that. Any questions or anything which you would like to share?
Again, Bhaiya, here Prashant for me.
Ji Bhaiya, please.
Yeah. Actually, there are lots of examples, very frankly speaking. And after this UHV, what I have learned in these last 2 months, I think that had a very great impact that I could change again myself. If you speak about the anger, I remember very well, as we both are working. She's also a teacher. I'm also a teacher as well as an engineer, and having my side too. So I have a lot of what I guess engagement, and sometimes they tell, my son tells Papa, hey, this you have to bring tomorrow, otherwise the teacher will shout on me. This is necessary. But I tell him that you just remind me again, otherwise it will be left out. So at the last moment, say at around 9:30 or 10 o'clock, he tells, Papa, have you brought this? That time it is really means a big challenge. It's part of what I can say, that anger is to a extreme. Then I tell her, "Hey, I told you to remind, you didn't remind." But that love and affection, what you can say, that makes us whatever things happen, but I will bring for you. And then the rush to the shop, call to the friend. Anyhow, you just open the shop for me, but I want these things. So that way, that anger is there. And sometimes when we go to some of the market and bring something, and that time wife tells that you have to bring this, and last minute when we come back home, then अरे ये भी आपको लाना था. So that makes again anger. But again, that some love affection due to this, what I guess the change that had made due to this UHV is that we again go back and bring that. So I think anger, definitely it is coming to everyone, but unless until you go through some workshops like this and make yourself know, that is self exploration, understanding, right understanding, and I think that will change the overall looking, the way of looking, what I think. That is my exploration, Bhaiya.
Nice, Bhaiya. Very
Two
nice.
examples.
Yeah, very good. So another enrichment to the session and to all of us who are sitting over here. Thank you so much.
Can I share something?
Sure. Please, Priya.
Actually, 2 days back, one of the student actually misbehaved with the teacher very badly. He came to the staff room and he was like literally like getting angry with the teacher for some reason. And so the complaint came to the principal also. So I was also called since it was in my department. So I could see, of course, the boy, I could, all the teachers were really getting angry. They were feeling very, what you call, annoyed. But I could see that, of course, it is a mistake done by that boy. But I could understand his competence level is not, was low. That's why he did it. So in my mind, I was calm. But since this is a disciplinary issue, we need to like give some sort of notice to him. But intention was like he didn't want to. I could see the intention, but there are many times as we also lack competence, the students also lack competence. So I was calm in my mind, and I could do it in a nice way to talk to that student also. And he understood and he apologized to the teacher.
Nice, Didi. Nice exploration. So if we can see, as Didi is telling, the students may react for some reason or the other, but if you can see that this is because of his lack of competence or her lack of competence, and if we can be calm and discuss the matter with affection, with a feeling of affection, and only through response to the student, he or she may also come down. And as Didi is telling, he apologies. That is also part of it. That is, apology means that he or she is realizing that this anger is happening because of lack in competence, and he is trying to correct it. The expression outside is coming in the form of apology also. That is also, something which you can see. Pavan Reddy has a question. Pavan Reddy ji, you can unmute and speak. Mic is given to you, I suppose. Well, while doing meditation, anger with control, that is what Pavanji is typing. If you have a question, you can use the mic and speak so that there is clarity.
Okay, sir, explain about it, sir. We can do meditation, we will control our anger.
Yeah.
Hello?
That is possible. Yeah, right. I listen to you. Very nice.
Surely, sir.
Yeah, we can. So when we do meditation, what is actually happening is we put ourselves in a harmony. Is it not? So this anger is happening because we become disharmony in ourselves. And one of the reasons for the disharmony is, as we discussed here, we think that the intention of the other person is wrong. Doubt on intention is one of the reasons. As Manjusha Didi is typing, there are other causes also for anger. But anyway, what is happening ultimately is we become uncomfortable and we become the feelings within us will not be naturally acceptable, like opposition, some kind of anxiety may be the result. So because of this, we become angry and our behavior is getting reflected. This is getting reflected in our behavior also. So when we meditate, what is happening is we calm ourselves. Maybe we detach from the other selves for some time. We sit calm for some time in a lonely place. We just observe what is happening within us. This observation is actually giving us this improvement in competence. And that is helping us to recognize and bring back and fulfill this naturally acceptable feelings within me. And that can release this anger. Nice, Bhaiya. So when we can see things through natural acceptance, like what we discussed here, this is in my intention part. When I see that the intention is same for every human being, and natural acceptance is also same for every human being, they're same. Then I can see that there is no point in getting angry. There is no point in getting this reaction mode. Rather, I can be in my responsive. Nice. So meditation is very good. Thank you, Pavan Bhaiya. Manjusha Didi, any other cause means there can be several other causes for anger. But the result is finally I am in disharmony. When I am angry, I will be in disharmony. So I can evaluate this. Manjusha Didi, the mic is unmute. Please go ahead.
So I can hear you. Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yes, audible.
If you are calm enough, then the anger, we won't get much angry. But if we are disturbed and some small incidents may trigger us to be in an irritated mode. Everything is in our hands. That is the mood. So it's a narrow line between this the lack of competence and the know the intention of the other. So most of the time we have to be very cautious about it. So that's why I asked, is there any other cause for this anger?
Yeah.
So this is a very good statement,
yeah.
And we have to keep in mind always. So that's why it's a very we have to keep in mind the main cause of this anger is this actually the differentiation between the competence level of the other and other of mind and the intention part.
Yeah.
So this thing we have to keep in mind always.
Very true. Very true. So when we say harmony, if this harmony is something within me, so whenever harmony is affected by any external triggers, as you rightly pointed out, any external trigger, like as you said, somebody said mood swings are also there, or some other trigger from some other incidents, some events, or some other situation, some other person. If my harmony is getting affected through that, I'm always looking out for my harmony. But my harmony is within me. That is an innate nature within me. This also we have to see. And if my harmony is not affected by these external influences, this also is leading to the intention part. That is my natural acceptance part. That is harmony is innate. And my internal harmony is leading to my happiness. So this is also my natural acceptance. So whatever triggers which are happening outside, we can just keep it apart, that it is not going to affect my harmony. But this is a desired state. Maybe many of us will take some time to see this and to reach this particular stage. Nice theory, nice exploration. Very good. So with trust on intention, we feel related to the other, then there is no feeling of anger. Yeah, so we can continue this discussion based on whatever is given in this proposals in this slide. Whenever desire does not get fulfilled and we perceive that it is due to the other, then we get irritated or angry. This also is we see that the other is a cause for my anger. When my desire is not getting fulfilled, I look at the other, I look outside, and I see that my harmony is getting affected because of that. But in fact, my harmony is within me, and that is my natural acceptance. So if I can see that the other has the right intention, but lacks competence, then instead of getting angry, I re-examine my desire and expectation and action. Is my expectation right or not? Is the program to fulfill the desire correct or not? Have I developed the necessary competence within myself? What effort have I made to help the other in improving his or her competence? So we can think in this line that my harmony is not getting affected through these external triggers. So I can re-examine my desire or expectation. And I can see that I am in harmony. I can bring back my harmony because it is innate, and help the other also to improve his or her competence. Yeah. Suryakan Paya is pointing out in the chat box that injustice may lead to anger. Right, Paya. So this injustice, we discussed about this in detail in the workshop also. So justice is something which we discuss as the evaluation, fulfillment, and recognition of the human-to-human relationship. The ensuring this right feelings like trust, respect, affection, care, guidance, etc., up to the universal feeling of love in every human being. This is what we refer to as justice. So when there is injustice, some of these feelings or maybe all of these feelings are lacking. So when these feelings of trust, we discuss about trust right now, when the feeling of trust is lacking in me and the other human being, I see that the other human being has the misinterpretation of this intention. When I see just like that, then I'm getting disturbed. And that is going to lead to my angry behavior, my reaction kind of behavior. So, of course, if you refer to injustice like this, that is leading to anger. So you may be referring to the injustice in the society. Yeah. So this is also an external trigger. Even if it is happening with me, I can say that this is external trigger. But within me, if I am in harmony, then my happiness is not going to be affected. And I can see the intention of the other person is right. But still, because of lack of competence, this non-fulfillment of the relationship with me is not happening with the other person. Nice. So we conclude this session on trust. Yeah, thank you, Suryakan Bhaiya. With conclude this session on trust with this sum up. Trust is to have the clarity. Manjusha is typing in the chat box. Justice to one, maybe injustice to the other. Maybe we can keep this open till the discussion on the other feelings also, respect and other feelings. If the evaluation, recognition, evaluation, and fulfillment of human-to-human feelings is what I refer to as justice, then I can also see that this is same for every human being. If something is justice for somebody, that cannot be injustice for the other. This is a proposal, so we can keep on exploring upon this. What I am referring to is not what the court of law is declaring as some, let's say, some verdict or some rules, some statements. I'm referring to this human-to-human relationship. That is what we refer to as justice. So we come to that at a later point of time after discussing about this feelings part. Nice. So what we say here is that trust is to have the clarity that the other wants to make me happy and prosperous. If I have trust on intention, I accept the other, I am assured of the other, and we are able to make effort for mutual development. I make a program with the other based on right evaluation of our mutual competence. In case the other is lacking in competence, I make effort to assure the other. I make effort to improve his competence once he is assured in relationship and not before that. So this assurance in relationship is very much essential. Otherwise, if I just start talking about you have to improve your competence and things like that, that may not work out. So with a feeling of relationship, with a feeling of affection, let's say, if you talk to the other person to improve, to help improving his competence, this may work out. So we have to explore this further into the feeling of respect also. So we will do that in the next session. And now if I lack in competence, I become ready to take help from the other to improve my competence. So as we see in those bar charts, if I can see that the other person is having more competence than me, it is my responsibility or it is my commitment to take help from the other to improve my competence. So every one of us is holding hands. Some of us are ahead in terms of competence. Some of us are behind in terms of competence. Competence, what I say, is the right understanding part. Understanding harmony at all the 4 levels. This is what I refer to as competence. The skill part also is a very small part in this competence, but that is differing from person to person, because the skill which you have may not be the skill which I have. These are 2 different kinds of skills. So if I keep that apart, the right understanding, we can have the same right understanding. Understanding harmony, it can be same for me as well as you, if you work for that. So we are holding hands. So I can help somebody, you can help me to improve our level of competence. So we are complementary to each other in this particular case. But on the other hand, if I have doubt on intention, I evaluate myself on the basis of my intention and others on the basis of their competence. I have a feeling of opposition with the other, which shows up as irritation or anger, and it further leads to fighting, struggle, and war, etc. So this is something which we have explored and try to verify referring to a natural acceptance. And later we experientially validate this proposals and try to make it part of the belief. There is a home assignment for you before we come back to the next session on Wednesday. Suryakanfa is asking why the competence level varies from one to another. Yeah, but yeah. So in a given situation, let us say there are 2 persons. Even if they are siblings or let's say identical twins, can we think that they're going to behave similarly? We can also take the example of a classroom where we have some 40-50 students. If we deliver a lecture to the students, are they going to take it in the same fashion? Let's say it's a lecture on universal human values itself. The proposals are delivered, or rather they are discussed in the classroom. So all these 40-50 students are not going to take it in the same fashion. That depends upon their competence level. So the right understanding part is also different from person to person. So it is our responsibility to help the other. If you see that my right understanding is better than the other, or my competence is better than the other, it is my responsibility to help the other. So competence wise, we are at different levels. If you take the same situation, like somebody is shouting upon, suppose there is an incident like on the road, somebody is shouting upon me. I may be getting angry immediately because of that, but maybe another person who is standing besides me may not be getting angry that easily. He may try to pacify the situation. Maybe the person who is shouting in the same fashion to both of us, but we behave in different fashion. This can show that the competence is different in these two persons. So through life experiences, we can validate this. That is why these proposals. But one thing is very sure, that the potential of improving competence is there with every human. That is what we have to see, and we have to work upon this potential. And with the help of this potential, rather working on this potential, we can improve our competence level. Sanskars are different, maybe. Yeah, Manjusha Didi said. Yeah, we have a lot of preconditionings. We have acquired a lot of sanskars within us. We have a lot of sensation part also. So on the base of that, our what we say, the level of competence will vary. Nice point, Didi. Very nice. So this education is helping our sanskar. Education is helping to ensure this right understanding, and the result is that is helping to improve my sanskar. How can we understand the intention of others? Damodara is asking this question. Very nice. So this is what we refer to as mutual evaluation. So when I have a discussion with the other, when I have interaction with the other, I can evaluate the other. So in every interaction with the other, I evaluate the other person. And I evaluate the other person. If I evaluate the other person rightly, for a right evaluation, I have to be in harmony for sure. If I'm not in harmony, my evaluation is going to be different. So if I am in harmony, perfect harmony, I can have this right evaluation. So we discuss about this right evaluation part in the next session only, but still, because the question is there, what we actually do is mutual evaluation. So when I evaluate myself and I evaluate the other with the same level of harmony that I have, then I can see that the intention is same. I can see that I want to make myself happy, and the other also wants to make me happy. If I can see this with my natural acceptance, then I can have this trusted intention of every human. Yeah. Manjusha is typing, all are same. Nice. So the students can note down this particular home assignment. How many persons in your family and friends do you have trusted intention, natural acceptance, unconditional, continuous? This point is very important. You always make effort to improve mutual competence. Your own competence as well as the competence of the other, rather than getting irritated, angry, or having a feeling of opposition, even for a moment. So we can have an evaluation like this, and we can count the number of persons with whom we have unconditional, continuous trust. Now, second question is, in case you are getting angry or irritated, do you feel happy when you are getting angry? And when do you express your anger? What is the outcome when you express your anger? Is it mutual happiness? What is the reason for your anger? Is it the other or you? So what is the trigger for your anger? That's also a question. So whenever now you are angry, you can just go for an evaluation of your feeling. Is it the right feeling? And what is the cause of your anger? Is it you yourself or the other person or some other incidents? You can just evaluate this, and you can make a note on these things in your notebook, UHV notebook. Then next question is, talk to two close friends you may have lost due to lack of trust. If there are any, I add this. Tell them you have realized the difference between intention and competence, and that you want to reconnect. What is the response? Or if it is a reaction, you can just note down this evaluation also. So when we have such kind of conversation with the other person, that is leading to our evaluation, our own evaluation and the evaluation of the other. So once we have these proposals with us, after verification, we can try to validate this in our life. And then whenever we go into such a situation, so this is happening with me. That is what I can tell you this very clearly. Whenever I go into a situation of anger with an external trigger, suddenly I go into an evaluation, self-evaluation. What is happening with me? Is it naturally acceptable to me? Is it a naturally acceptable feeling? So with that evaluation, I take some time for that. So with that, I can come back to my harmony. So there are some instances in which I go into disharmony, but I can bring back my harmony through this right evaluation. Yeah, so this is already time. If there are any questions, we can take it. Otherwise, we can close this session. Any sharing or exploration from the co-explorers? Any student or teacher would like to say something? Yeah.
Sir.
Ansil?
Yes, so for understanding the consequences of anger, it is better to watch that right here, right now video, sir, where we can clearly show the differentiation of that reaction and the response, in which response unites everyone, whereas the reaction just differentiates everyone in terms of harmony and thus creates disharmony among every society, sir.
Very nice. Thank you for pointing it out. Anyway, in the next session, we are going to discuss about this only, the video right here, right now. So if you can type in the YouTube, you will be getting there are two links, there are two parts for the video. So you can just watch the video right here, right now. Just type in right here, right now in the YouTube. You'll be getting the links to watch the video. So please watch these two videos. The videos are just like continuation only. Part 1 and part 2 are going one by one. So if you can watch that video right here, right now by Anand Gandhi and attend this next session, it is going to be helpful in discussing things, because the next part of this is response and reaction. That is what we are going to discuss with the help of the content in the video. Very nice point. Thank you, Ansil, for pointing it out. Yeah, Ansil is now, yeah, this is the link for that video. Ansil?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Very nice, very nice. Very nice. So the link is posted by Ansil for everyone. So you can just watch the video and we can attend the next session on next Wednesday. Thank you so much for your explorations and comments. This is enriching me also.
Thank
you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Certainly. Thank you. Thanks, Priya. And thank you all the participants to help us exploring ourselves as well. Namaste, everybody.